The Masoretic Text, or MT, is the authoritative Hebrew version of the Jewish Bible known as the Tanakh, and it forms the basis for most modern translations of the Old Testament. The development of the Masoretic Text was a long, meticulous process that spanned several centuries, beginning around the 7th century CE and ending in the 10th century CE. This period was marked by the efforts of Jewish scribes known as the Masoretes, whose primary goal was to preserve the original Hebrew scriptures by establishing a consistent and accurate text. The origins of the Masoretic Text can be traced back to the post-Second Temple period, around the 1st century CE. After the destruction of the Second Temple in 70 CE, the Jewish community faced significant upheaval. As Jewish life became increasingly decentralized and the Hebrew language less commonly spoken, the need to preserve the correct pronunciation and interpretation of the Hebrew scriptures became more urgent. Up until that point, the text of the Hebrew Bible was largely an oral tradition, with variations in pronunciation and interpretation across different regions. By the 7th century CE, a group of Jewish scholars known as the Masoretes emerged with the purpose of standardizing the text of the Hebrew Bible. The most prominent groups of Masoretes were based in Tiberias, Jerusalem, and Babylon. Among the Masoretes, the Ben Asher family from Tiberias became the most influential. One of the most important figures in this family was Aaron ben Moses ben Asher, who played a significant role in finalizing the Masoretic text. The Masoretes were deeply committed to preserving the sacred text without altering its meaning. To achieve this, they developed a system of meticulous annotations and markings to ensure the correct pronunciation, grammar, and reading of the Hebrew scriptures. These annotations included vowel points. The original Hebrew Bible was written in consonants only, which made pronunciation difficult, especially as the Hebrew language evolved. The Masoretes developed a system of vowel points called nikkud to indicate how words should be pronounced. Cantillation marks. The Masoretes also added marks to guide the chanting and singing of the text in liturgical settings known as teamim or cantillation marks. Masorah notes. The Masoretes included marginal notes known as the Masorah, which provided instructions on how to read and interpret specific words, explained difficult passages, and highlighted variations in manuscript traditions. Their work ensured that the Hebrew Bible could be transmitted across generations with incredible precision and consistency, despite being written in different regions and times. By the 10th century CE, the work of the Masoretes was essentially complete, and the text they established became the definitive version of the Hebrew Bible. The Aleppo Codex, created in the 10th century, is one of the most famous manuscripts of the Masoretic text, believed to have been written or edited by Aaron ben Asher himself. The Leningrad Codex, circa 1008 CE, is the oldest complete manuscript of the Masoretic text that survives today. While the Masoretes were successful in their scholarly endeavors, their work did not end without challenges. Jewish communities at the time were often subject to persecution and displacement, especially in regions under Christian or Muslim rule. Despite these difficulties, there is no historical record of any Masoret dying as a direct result of their work on the Masoretic text. Instead, their legacy was one of scholarly achievement and devotion to preserving the sacred scriptures. The end of the Masoretic period marked the closure of active work on the text, as the Masoretes had succeeded in creating a standardized version that would endure for centuries. The Masoretic text is still considered the authoritative version of the Hebrew Bible in Jewish tradition, and has been the foundation for most Christian Old Testament translations. Its precision and clarity, preserved by the Masoretes, have ensured that the Hebrew Bible has been transmitted with remarkable accuracy over the millennia. Although the Masoretes did not face violence directly tied to their work, they lived in a time of significant religious and political tension, which shaped the way they approached the preservation of their sacred texts. In conclusion, the Masoretic Text represents a culmination of centuries of devotion, scholarship, and reverence for the Hebrew Scriptures. The work of the Masoretes, especially figures like Aaron ben Asher, ensured that the text was faithfully preserved and passed down through generations. Their legacy continues to influence Judaism and Christianity today.